Now then guys, Craig here and thank you for joining me on another rebuild. As today we're rebuilding Parma. Now, Italian football is an absolute shambles, isn't it? There's loads of controversy going on there. There's currently stuff happening with Juve where they could potentially get stripped of their Serie A place and end up in Serie B next season. But when we look at Parma are a team that have gone through financial trouble. One of their spells basically lasted 15 years of more or less being in administration before going into solvency. And now they currently find themselves in Serie B. But at one point they were actually relegated to Serie D. I've been looking at this on Wikipedia. I know they had some troubles, but they went from Serie D and got 3 promotions on the bounce to get back into Serie A. But they have just been relegated to Serie B. So this episode then is basically about sorting them out financially. Now, they're not crippled on here when we have a look at their finances shortly. They're not in as much trouble as I thought they were going to be. However, I just want to make them a consistent Serie A club and just remain there. So first mission obviously is to get them back into Serie A and then hopefully try and get a little bit of silverware across the way, but just maintain our Serie A status. So if you are new to the channel, thank you very much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Stick that bell on as well, why not? Because there's plenty more rebuilds coming. You don't want to miss out on them. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you very much for your support. It means a lot as this channel continues to grow. But yeah, let's get into the rebuilding of Parma. Right then guys, so absolute Parma drama here is, like I say, we're in Serie B. Club captain now, Buffon, has made his way back to the club where it all began for him. Come on a free transfer from Juve last season where he only played 8 games. Looking at his stats wise though, physically you probably don't want him to move with the ball. 4 acceleration, 5 pace. But goalkeeping and mental attributes, we've got world class goalkeeper still within our midst there. Media description, veteran, I'll take that. I say world class lightheartedly. 176 caps for Italy. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the players as of yet. As we look at these finances, as transfer budget, I've got 3.8 million to spend, and I am happy with that if I'm completely honest. In Serie B, we've got quite a bloated squad which we'll look at shortly, which I'll be able to offload a couple of players there as well. But yeah, 3.8 million to strengthen that squad a little bit. I'm very happy with, and 70% of the overall transfer revenue is being given back to us. So like I say, I thought we would have been financially crippled, and we're not, as we've got £500,000 to spend on the wage budget as well. We've got about 30k to spend, and the overall balance is £10 million. When we look at the debt and loans, £23 million in debt, almost 24. But again, you know, I was expecting to be in £100 million worth of debt, so I'm very happy with how that's panned out. Looking at the club vision of the squad then, what are the board really after? So club culture wise, they want us to sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. We'll go for that. 5-year plan is to work within the wage budget. Obviously financial security is going to be massive here. End of the current season, they want us to win promotion back to Serie A. They want us to reach the second round as a bare minimum of the Italian Cup. And then going forward, they basically just want us to remain in the Serie A. Continue to be an established Serie A team. And like I say, that is the plan for this rebuild. Squad dynamics and team cohesion is abysmal. And why is that? The team's collective mental state is disappointing at the moment. This will impact player positioning during matches. And players will experience issues with their vision and reactions to events unfolding when playing. That's fine. We'll sort that out in the pre-season. Club atmosphere is good and Maggio support is good as well. So they're happy that I'm there. Anybody opposed me early doors? Now I've got 10 players to support us though, which is good. And 21 players have no real opinion of us. And then looking at the squad overall, like I say, a very bloated squad. Have I got any players that are overvalued that I could potentially sell on? So Lautaro Valenti, a 22-year-old Argentinian, is currently valued up to £22 million. Now we bought him for £9 million this season, so we cannot sell him on after he played 11 games for us in Serie A last season. We also have Dennis Mann, really good player who can play out on that right-hand side. Romanian, 22-year-old, 9 caps. We have got a decent team, I'm going to be honest. Yes, a lot of these players have come from the Serie A, and we haven't moved too many of them on, but he played 14 times in Serie A last season, 2 goals as well. Simon Som, a 20-year-old Swiss international, 1 cap, currently valued at 9.2 million. Got him last season in Serie A where he only played 1 game. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of these guys are going to now starting to feature in Serie B because they may have not been good enough for Serie A, but we can push them on in this league. What about the development centre then? So we've got a couple of players that are highly regarded. Bertolt Balog, a 19-year-old Hungarian centre-back. He looks quite decent. Where did he come from? So we've had him 3 seasons now. He played 3 times in Serie A last season. I think for me, we'll move him to the senior squad. Let's get him involved. And then Dan Direx. I've absolutely butchered his pronunciation already. Probably 5 minutes into the video and I've already ruined somebody's name. But he's currently valued at 850k to 7 million. 18-year-old Belgian who can play at centre-back. We got him on a free transfer from Ghent. He played 7 times last season as well. Again, I'm going to move this guy to the senior squad for now. We may not see too much of him, but pass and tackling technique, all very good already for an 18-year-old. I could see this guy, if he sticks with us throughout the save, getting some caps for Belgium. And Belgium is a difficult squad to get into, so we'll keep an eye on him. So looking at the tactic then, we're probably going to play this 4-2-3-1 formation. I think that's the way to go. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm a fan of the two up top. We'll probably end up playing a 4-2-4 as that is quite overpowered in this FM engine. However, I think at the minute we'll go 4-2-3-1. It gives us that defensive stability as well, because normally I like to go all-out attack. We're going to play a gang and press, and the mentality for the time being anyway, may change before the season starts, is going to be balanced. And then finally, looking at the rules of the Serie B, I was looking to see how many teams got promoted. So 2 teams get automatic promotion. The prize money is just over £2 million. And then the third team place goes into the playoff, which I would assume is against the third bottom place team from the Serie A. So that's the way we'll go with it. So what we're going to do then is we're going to get this transfer window out the way. It's a big one as I look to offload quite a few of the players out of the first team squad. Because like I say, when you're scrolling down, look at the amount of players in the first team. And yes, I have just moved some players into there. But what I want to do is I want to thin this squad out and have a push in Serie B. So let's get to work. Right then guys, we're back and the Season 1 transfer window is out the way. Finances wise, we're looking decent still. We've got £1.8 million in the transfer budget. We're still only getting 70% of the transfer revenue, but that isn't the problem, like I say. Overall balance, 7.3 million. And the wage budget is just under $500,000 and we're currently spending 443k. There has been plenty of transfers. Obviously, a lot of these transfers have happened before I took over, but we've spent a total of 24.5 million overall, and we've brought in a total of 11.25 million in funds back into the club. Now, like I say, I haven't really done too much of this, but I will show you the players that have left while I've been in charge. So Vincent Larini has gone off to Bordeaux. Now he's a 32-year-old Frenchman who we brought in for 1.3 million a couple of seasons ago. Played 14 times in Serie A last season. And we've let him go for 1.1 million. I'm fairly happy with that. You know, 32-year-old. Yes, he's a more experienced player, but I wanted to go with youth this season. Another player to leave was Simeon Acapone. Now he's 34-year-old and we've let him go to FC Copenhagen for 350k. We've actually got more than what we spent on him. We spent 220k in the 2016-17 season. He played 16 times his last season in Serie A. But again, you know, at 34-year-old, let's get him out the club. And one of our highly rated youngsters has gone, Dario Sitz. He has gone off to Fiorentina for 700k. Now, I didn't want to let him go, but the compensation deal was there, 700k for him to take him. They signed him. It was confirmed, all done. Currently valued 2.8 million. It's not a great loss as we wouldn't see him develop fully throughout the save anyway, but yes, one of our youngsters has been poached. More importantly though, the players coming in, I've only brought in 2 players and they're both central defenders. So I've brought in Ferro from Benfica. Now he has joined us for 950k. He played for Valencia on loan last season where he only played 3 games and 4 games for Benfica the season before that. He's kind of fallen out of favour a little bit. So he was transfer listed and we brought him in for next to nothing. Currently valued at 2.6 million. Now a 24-year-old is still going to develop. His head and mark and tackling all 14. Strength he could work on. I am worried he could get muscled off the ball. However, his composure, jumping reach and teamwork, all 16, look good for me. And then lastly, I've brought in Santi Ramos Mingo. Now, he's a 19-year-old Argentinian, currently valued at £11 million now. Head and mark and tackling all high. Strength 12, again, on the increase. However, his aggression is 16, and I like that. His media description, he's just centre back. There's not much going on for him at the minute. We spent 3.9 million from Barcelona after he got him on a free transfer. Now, he was in their second team where he played 15 games last season, and this guy, for me, is only going to get better. So with the ins and outs, how has that changed the club dynamics? So team cohesion is still very poor. Club atmosphere is very good. Imagine support is very good. I've got no player issues. And top influencers wise, I've got 11 players to support us, 14 players that have no real opinion, and nobody opposes. I've only got 1 team leader now, and that's Buffon. So looking at the tactics then, we are going to persevere with that 4-2-3-1 formation with Buffon in goal, Kubot, Ferro, Mingo and Koulibaly at the back with Vasquez and Juric in the middle, Mahalila, Bruanetta and Mann out wide and Inglese up front. Now this guy, what an incredible player. 32-year-old, yes. You know, he's probably one of the older players at the club, but those attributes are absolutely mental. Hopefully he does some good stuff for us this season, as we've got him on a free transfer from Sevilla as well, where he played 15 times in the Liga last season, got a goal as well. Yes, he's only played half of their games, but he's a quality player for our squad. So looking at the squad overall then, there is no scroll now. That is as you see it. I have got some players out on loan. We are blessed at the back, I would say. We're probably a bit heavy in those centre-back options. And the only two players I have brought in are centre-backs. However, I am building for the future. It's probably the best transfer window that I've had, where I've just been looking at youth. I haven't been going all out, trying to bring in massively experienced players at the minute, because we have got some experience in the squad. When we look at the age, obviously we've got Buffon, Danilo, Sciattarella, I think that's how we pronounce it, Vasquez 32, Sepe 30, Inglesi even at 29. So we have got some experience in the squad. And when we look at the ability, the majority of the players are 3-star plus. We've only got 3 players below 2.5 stars, and those players I basically promoted from the reserves. So looking at the season preview then, look at those odds. We are 91-1 to win the league. So if we blow this, I am going to be out of a job. And when we look at the immediate dream 11, I've got 4 players in it. Buffon, Sciattarella, Vasquez and Mann. All quality players that should be doing it at this level anyway. And then the other competitions that we're in the Serie B obviously and the Italian Cup. That is all we've got to play for this season. So what we're going to do then is we're going to simulate forward to the end of season 1, where if I don't get promoted, I'm probably going to be out of a job. Right then guys, season 1's over, and as you can see I'm still in a job and we finished top of the league. Now we made hard work by the look of it, finishing on 79 points, 4 points clear of the team in second place as we played 38 games, won 23, drew 10, lost 5. Shocking form throughout the league season. We scored 82 goals but we conceded 50 goals. 50 goals conceded in the league, wowzers. That tactic obviously didn't work for us this time out. Goal difference of plus 33. I'm assuming we were all over the place in the league. So we're actually in the top 2 throughout the season. I expected us to be all over the place with that form, with the top 3 teams just switching positions throughout the season. But yes, we get that top place finish and we'll be playing in the Serie A next season. Competitions wise, like I say, finished in top spot in the Serie B. We were knocked out in the Italian Cup in the 3rd round by Inter Milan. Inter actually went on to win the cup anyway, so we were knocked out by the eventual winners obviously, because if we hadn't come up against Inter, we'd have obviously made it to the final ourselves. And then finances wise, the transfer budget has stuck a batter and we've basically got nothing to spend. Just under £7,000 isn't going to do anything. As wage budget wise, we've got 461k to spend. We're only spending 419. But the overall balance, minus 10 million now, not good. As obviously we were still playing a lot of players, the wages from when they were in the Serie A. Yes, there will have been some reductions in there, but the core of it is the problem. Now we're back in Serie A, we can do some real good business going forward. Looking at squad dynamics and team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is excellent, my geo support's good. So greens across the board now. I've got one player that wants to leave. Osorio wants to leave for better playing time. We can get him off the books, 4.7 million hopefully. Top influencers wise then, I've got 20 players that support us, 4 players that have no real opinion of us, and nobody opposes us. And then looking at the player stats and the team performance overall, top goal scorers to Tino with 24 goals. How did he get on in comparison to everybody else in the league? So Alfredo Donnarumma scored 32 goals this season, with Moreo from Brescia getting 23, Saribi from Ascoli getting 22, and then Totino with 21 in the league. Highest average rating was Vasquez with a 7.39. I said this guy was incredible, and he's done a decent job for us throughout the season, scoring 7 goals and getting 10 assists. Most assists was Brunetta with 19. Best pass completion was Osorio with 98%. Most player of the match awards was Vasquez with 9. Team stats wise then we played 38 games. We scored 82 goals, which is the best. We conceded 50, which was the 8th worst in the league out of 20 teams. Yellow cards wise, we got 58, which is the 8th worst, and 2 red cards, which is the 3rd worst. So there we go then, guys. The first season's over. Mission accomplished. Part 1 of that mission anyway, to get back into the top tier, which is where we are now. Definitely got to look at that formation, as the tactic has almost cost us the league title this season. So yes, we'll be back for the start of season 2, when firstly I've tried to sort out those finances, and then trying to improve the team to keep us in Serie A for the next season. Right then guys, so here we go again. We're 2nd season in and the club's already in financial trouble, as when we look at the wage budget, I'm currently spending 562k on the wage budget and my target is 473k. Overall balance, we've now got it down to 186k in the red. This season I've made a profit of just over 11 million, but it's still not going to be enough. Getting this 15% in the transfer revenue done absolutely nothing anyway. And we have these ridiculous things in the Serie A where we loan players for the first season and buy them the season after. So Brunetta and Totino have both joined us for a total of £10 million. Now they were obviously with us last season, and it was £10 million that I did not need to spend. I've had to let players go. There's not even anybody worth a mention from that first team, really, that done us any favours last season. So we've got a total of 11.25 million coming in. I can go through the players that left. Grassi left us. He wasn't even with us last season. He's out on loan last season to Cagliari. He went to Besiktas for 1.5 million. Hanani went off to Genoa. He was out on loan there last season as well. 4.7 million we sold him on for. Giuseppe Pizzella went off to Atlanta again. Another player that was out on loan last season. 4.3 million we got back in. Well, I say we got it back in. It went into the club. It definitely didn't go in the transfer kitty. And it has left us in a real vulnerable position, as my squad is basically made up of kids now. When we look at like the positions, so probably my best goalkeeper at the club is a 19-year-old who I've just promoted from my reserves. Yes, I have got Luigi Seppi, but I don't think he's as good as the other lad. However, this guy is going to be my number one, obviously, because I just cannot have kids run the club at the minute. Now, this will be fantastic if I can survive this league campaign and stay in the top tier. It's going to be extremely difficult with what I've got. However, bringing in Mingo last season and Ferro has helped me out in the centre-back options. But God, I have got some problems this season. My squad is massively bloated again, as I've basically just promoted any talent from my reserve squad, as I just need to try and work now with the best I've got at the club, because other players are going to leave us before now and the end of the transfer window. That is inevitable, but I've had to come back as the season is about to start. We're definitely not going to see anybody come through the door, as now it is a little bit damage limitation as far as the finances go. When I'm looking at the club vision, obviously they're disappointed I haven't signed players under the age of 23. I'm struggling with the wage budget, and I'm working hard to repair the club's financial damage. I've passed that one apparently, but we are going to be in some serious trouble. If I can't get more players off the books by this transfer window, then we're going to basically just cruise through to the end of the season. And if we get relegated, that is it, game over. Now, for this season's expectation from the board, they want us to fight bravely against relegation. And that's what we're going to do. You know, when we look at the season preview in general, we're expected a 14th place finish. Even with our squad as it stands, we're only 300 to 1 to win the league. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but we need a 14th position. I am relying on the teams below us. Monza and Cremonese, the teams that come up with us, both going down, and then we're all just trying to fight off that third place in the relegation battle. I think that is the way to go. Naturally, I've got no players in the Media Dream 11. Never going to happen. But yeah, this season is going to be an absolute struggle. And I think it's the first time in a rebuild that I haven't been able to do anything. Even when I done Derby, yes, there was a financial crisis going on, but we managed to get ourselves out of trouble when the club was taken over, by the end of the first season. But now I just have not been able to do anything. And looking at the squad dynamics, team cohesion's average, club atmosphere is very good, and manager support's very good. So, big problems happening within the club, fortunately, haven't made their way into the dressing room. Nobody opposes us, 17 player supporters, 10 players have no real opinion of us. And when you're looking at the social groups, we're more or less set as a core social group now, because everybody's been together for the last couple of seasons. Tactically then, as we try to survive this season, I am going to go for a more defensive approach, I suppose. I've got the mentality set as positive there. I'm going to go cautious. We're going to play with an anchor man. We're basically going to play 4-1-3-2, 2 players up front. Totino, actually, we'll swap him now to a target forward on support, as it is going to be a lot of smash and grab. Now, I am playing a tick-attack, as I would like to knock the ball about a bit. I could go to a counter-attack. I don't think that's the way to go. I don't want to just be sat waiting for it all the way through, because we will get put to the sub. We need to try and play our own game and get points on the board. So looking at where we can potentially get points from then, we start with games against Empoli, Cagliari, Fiorentina, Atalanta and Verona. We need at least 6 points, I would say, out of those first 5 games. Now, you know, there are some very big teams in the Serie A, but if we can just get points off the teams, the bottom 8 teams, that would be absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're all going to say a prayer. I'm not a religious man, but I think we're at the point now where I'm going to have to do something to try and make sure that we stay in Serie A next season. So yes, fingers crossed. Like I say, let's say a prayer, and hopefully at the end of this transition, we're still in a Serie A. Right, so here's me then saying that we wouldn't be able to survive in the league with the majority of the squad being kids. However, we've managed a 12th place finish, 46 points on the board, and only a -7 goal difference. Now, I'm sure that's a better performance than in the Serie B, really. I know, yes, we were scoring goals for fun, and we were much better as far as the goal difference goes, but when we look at where are we, down here, conceded 53 goals conceded. That's almost the same as the season before, where I think we conceded 50 goals, so not bad going at all. So we played 38 games, won 13, drew 7, lost 18. I expected to lose a lot more games than that. If I'm completely honest, I expected to be dicing with relegation, if not getting relegated this season. But we only scored 46, conceded 53, minus 7 goal difference, plus 46 points on the board though. Be interesting to see how we've done as far as the past positions go. So we had a fairly bright start to the season, obviously before it starts to tail off. But then, yeah, we just minced about between 15th and 12th for the majority of the season. I'm really happy with that. I was going to say I'm quite happy with that. I'm absolutely buzzing that we've got another season in the Serie A. Looking at the competitions-wise, obviously we're only in 2 competitions. We're knocked out by Fiorentina in the Italian Cup. And in the Serie A, 12th place. Now, obviously, we've just got to try and build on that. So now, 7th place obviously gets us the Europa Conference League. Now, I would love to be in that at some point throughout this save. But yeah, big things to do in this transfer window. So looking at the finances then, we've got 4.7 million to spend in the transfer budget. We're now getting 70% of the transfer revenue. And the wage budget, we've now got 720k to spend when I couldn't even keep my head above water at the start of last season. Overall balance is £7 million. We're back in the black. This season we've had a profit of 18 million. That's only good for us. And this month, 4.2 million. So looking at squad dynamics then, team cohesion is good. Club atmosphere and my support are both excellent. I've got Asari who wants to leave. We'll probably ship him out in the transfer window. I've got 22 players out my 23 to fully supporters. And 1 player has no real opinion. And that's Ronaldo, my young goalkeeper. That is fine. He still managed to play 2 games this season. Now, Serie A conceded 4 goals. But he's still got 2 games nonetheless. And look at the club vision then. So I got a B+. To summarise the board, I'm very pleased with your overall leadership of the team. They wanted to sign players under the age of 23. They're pleased with that and reserve them judgment on everything else. However, the 5-year plan is to work within the wage budget, and we've just about managed to get away with that. That's basically because they've bailed me out. At the start of last season, I was struggling for that. And then looking at the player and team stats-wise then, so Totino got 19 goals this season. Is this the guy that I was kicking off about that we bought? Yeah, 4.7 million. It was a pre-arranged transfer and he scored 17 goals for us after scoring 21 the season before in Serie B. So I'm really happy with that, considering the amount of grief that this guy got off us for taking out such a large chunk of my transfer budget. Buzzing with that. The highest average rating then was Valenti with a 7.11. Most assist, Inglesi and Mann with 7 apiece. Best pass completion was Valenti with 99%. Most player of the match awards, Valenti with 5. And most yellow cards was Ramos Mingo and no red cards. Team stats wise then, we scored 46 goals, which is the 10th worst. And we scored 53 goals, which is the 10th worst. Mid-table, I'll take that. Yellow cards, we've got 82 and no red cards. And our average attendance is 22,000 and that is the 9th worst. So I'm absolutely ecstatic that we've stayed in the league and that the finances are looking a little bit better. I would say that's mission accomplished for Season 2. Now we need to get a top half finish in Season 3 and then be knocking on the door of Europe. So that's the plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward through the next transfer window. Well, I've got to be shrewd as I don't want to be in the same position again as I was at the start of Season 2. Right then, start of Season 3. It's actually been nice to do something with the squad, obviously, after last season's shambles. And financially, we've done alright. You know, we've still got 1.8 million transfer budget. We've got a wage budget of 610k. I'm only spending 543 of that. I have been cautious. And the overall balance, we've now got £13 million in there. So I've tried to play safe with the finances. I didn't want to go too mental. As again, it is just about consolidating in the league. That is the main aim of this save, is just to consolidate ourselves in the Serie A. And if we can get ourselves into Europe, bonus. Do I think this is a season? Probably not. However, we have done some strengthening. But first of all, then looking at the players that are leaving. So Luigi Sepe, who was my first choice goalkeeper, played 36 times his last season, conceded 49, has gone off to Sampdoria, also in the same league as ourselves, for £3 million. Now we did keep 12 clean sheets last season. It is an average goalkeeper, 32-year-old, just getting past his prime. His player trait was to use long throws to start counter-attacks, and we did like a counter-attack. However, £3 million for the financial position we were in was too good to refuse. Wayo Koulibaly has left us. He has gone back to France to Toulouse. Now, we spent £1.7 million on him in the season that I took over. And we've now sold him back on for £1.4 million after he played 10 games for his last season. He's already played 3 games for Toulouse. And for me, he wasn't that good. And that is it for the outgoings then. So the first player that we've brought him in on loan from Manchester City, the 21-year-old Brazilian, Juan Couto. Now, it's Juan Couto or Juan Quato. Juan Quato I'm going with, that's what we'll call him. We brought him in for 245k as a loan deal, but he was on loan last season at West Brom, played 14 times for them. But like I say, he's from Manchester City. He's a decent player. I've had him in FM21. He becomes a really all-round player. He's not a world beater. My coach rates him at 3.5 star. Potential abilities 4.5 star. But yeah, just strengthens that right-hand side. So with Sepe going, I needed to improve my goalkeeping options. And I've brought in a 25-year-old Croat, Ivan Nefesic. 2 caps already for Croatia. And we got him in for 2.2 million from Dynamo. I'm absolutely buzzing with this purchase. Like, we needed to strengthen. I wanted a goalkeeper that was on the younger side, but still had plenty about him. Like I say, 25-year-old, aerial reach 18, reflexes 16, jump and reach 18. He's 6'5". His media description is a towering goalkeeper, and this guy's my number one. Then I brought in Musa Janepo to strengthen out in my wide areas. Now, I am not playing with anyone behind the striker. However, left and right midfielder, that's where he's coming for. I spent £1 million on him from Southampton, where he only played 3 games in the Premier League last season. Now, that is the reason that I got him, because he was transfer listed. He wasn't featured in the Premier League, and I think we've picked up a little bit of a bargain. Now, technically, he's not great, but crossing, dribbling, first touch is where I want them. Acceleration and pace as well to beat the man. And he's 25-year-old, he's capped 44 times by Mali, so he's a decent player and he'll fit nice into our squad. And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, he's currently valued at 2.5 million. And then finally, I've brought in what was the wonder kid, Lorenzo Luca. Now, this guy is 6'7" and is an absolute monster. Attributes-wise, he's not the finished article yet, obviously being 22-year-old. But when we look at his player traits, he shoots with power, plays with his back towards goal, and tries long-range free kicks. Now, playing with his back towards goal, I'm playing this guy as a target forward, and I want him to hold up the ball. Now, he did cost us £5 million, but he did score 26 goals, obviously, in the Serie A last season. So he's a couple of leagues below us. But 26 goals nonetheless. There was a part exchange in there for probably the worst player at our club. I don't know why they took him, but they have. But yeah, £5 million. I think that's a decent deal. At the minute, he's currently valued up to 10.5 million. He's not somebody that I'm going to sell, and I'm expecting big things out of him. So looking at how the squad's going to line up for this season, we're going to go with the anchor man again. So Nevicic in goal, Mingo, Valenti, Ferrero, and Manquato at the back, with Juric in the holding role, Janepo, Sciattarella in the midfield, with Man out on that right-hand side, and then Luca and Totino up front. Totino, obviously, the top goal scorer for us last season, and single-handedly, more or less, carried us to that 12th place finish. Competitions-wise then, obviously, it's just the Serie A and the Italian Cup again. But then we look at the squad dynamics. Team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is good, and my Giro support is excellent. Now, I have got the one problem, that Lautaro Valenti, one of my better players at the club, is wanted by a majority of teams. Bournemouth, Burnley, Leeds, West Ham, Wolves, Bayern Munich, and Borussia Dortmund also coming for him, and I rejected them. But he's probably the best player at the club at the minute, and that is having some effect on the squad. But I've got no players that oppose us, 18 players that support us, and 5 players that have no real opinion of us. And then when we look at the season preview, we're expected a 12th place finish, so mid-table finish again. I'm happy with that. Realistically, obviously, you want to get in those top 7 places so we can get that Europa Conference League place. I don't think that's going to happen. Naturally, we've got no players in the Media Dream 11, and I don't think we'll see anybody in that Media Dream 11 for all of this save. But that is what it is, you know. We just need to maintain our league status. That is all it's about. And then just sort out the finances. Just have a look at those finances once again. We're in a decent place. Those debt and loans, we're now down to £16 million. So we're still okay for the minute. So what we're going to do then, guys, we're going to move forward into Season 3. And hopefully when we come out the other side, we're still in Serie A. I've still got a job. And if we're really lucky, we've got some European football at the end of it. Right then, guys, so we have achieved what I would consider to be impossible 3 seasons in. We have qualified for the Europa League, the full Europa League proper as well. I don't know if I wanted to go that far. I'd like to go to the Europa Conference. However, a 5th place finish in the league, as you can see there, is absolutely incredible when you consider the team around us. And you consider the team that we've got and the financial problems that we've been in. So we played 38 games, won 21, drew 6, lost 11, scored 75 goals playing what I would consider to be a defensive tactic as well. Conceded 49, so similar to last season. Goal difference of plus 26 for this season. 69 points on the board. And form has been fairly decent. So let's have a look at the past positions. So past positions wise then, we didn't have a great start to the season. But then we had a 5-1 win over Spezia. And we've just not looked back from there. We got ourselves up into 6th place with a 4-2 victory over Cremonese. Then we beat Benevento 4-1. Then 1-0 against Lazio. So we've had some terrific performances in there as well. But what about in the competition? So we've only got 2 to play for. Again, we were knocked out in the second round by Cagliari this time in the Italian Cup. But in that league, that is real quality. And as you can see there, Totino and Luca both getting 18 goals this season. Finances wise, what's that league position done for us? So we've got £16 million in the overall balance. We're going to have £11 million to spend in this upcoming transfer window. 70% of the transfer revenue is still being made available to us. Wage budget wise, we've got 50k to spend, so 610k overall. But like I say, we're currently spending 50k under that. Squad dynamics then are still looking good, with team cohesion and club atmosphere very good. My geo support also excellent. I've got players that are publicly unhappy which is a little bit of a problem. But does anybody oppose us? Yes, Kozovic. He joined us later on in the season. This was a guy that was pre-arranged. So Nebojša Kozovic has come into our central midfield. Montenegrin, 29-year-old, 54 caps, 3 goals. Obviously, he didn't play a game for us, and that'll be why he's unhappy, because he'll have joined us mid-season. And he's a non-EU player as well, which means he wouldn't have been able to play. So yeah, I'm not surprised he's unhappy. But I've got 23 players as supporters and 1 player that has no real opinion of us. And then I do think it's worth just quickly having a look at the schedule to have a look at our form, because it seems as though it's picked up. We had a really bad December then, not a great start to the season from October onwards. But then when you look at that January, basically all the way down to there, we lost 1 game and that was to Napoli. Some really good performances and they got absolutely smashed by Juve 6-2, then by Inter 2-1. But we beat Cagliari 5-3, Verona 3-1, a 4-0 victory over Fiorentina in there. Milan we beat 2-0, Atalanta 2-1, plenty of results to talk about. But a decent team performance, like I say, with a defensive tactic. Yes, we are playing a positive mentality, but we're not going out and out to score plenty of goals. So looking at the player and team stats, and you can see that Totino and Luca were joint top goal scorers for us this season. What were we like in the league? Immobile with 25 goals was the top scorer, Muriel with 24, Leao with 23. But we have got 2 players in there, Totino and Luca, like I say, 18 apiece. So they are within the top 7 goal scorers in the league, and we've got 2 players in there as well. There's no other team with 2 top goal scorers in them top 8 places. But then we look at the highest average rating was Maxime Busi with a 7.29. Most assists was Dennis Mann with 15. Best pass completion was Ferro with 98%. Most player of the match awards goes to Valentini Totino with 4 apiece. Most yellow cards goes to Simonson with 15. And most red cards Valenti, Mingo and Juan Brunetta with 1 apiece. So team stats wise then, goals scored was 75, which was the 4th best in the league this season. Goals conceded though, we were middle of the park again with 49. Yellow cards 95th worst and red cards 2, which was the 10th worst. Overall attendance 21,000, which is a 10th worst as well. So there we go then, guys. We are going to have Europa League football next season. That is an achievement in itself. Like I said, I would have loved the Europa League too, as I think we'd have had a better chance going there, but who knows what we can do in Europe now. And we're only going to be able to attract a higher caliber player because of the position that we find ourselves in. So what we're going to do then is we're going to go on again. We're going to try and improve on a transfer window. Like I said, we're going to be able to attract a higher caliber player. Hopefully I can bring them through the door, and that sees us push on even further next season. Right guys, so the start of season 4 and this one has been traumatic. The transfer window, we've been absolutely pillaged. Considering our league position last season and getting into Europe, the value of our some players have spiked. And with that comes some offers that the board have decided are too good to refuse. So let's go through. First of all, let's just have a look at the finances. So financially, we've got just under £17 million in the transfer budget. Wage budget-wise, 685k. We're currently spending 658k. Overall balance is 49 million. And when we look at the debt and loans, we've now got no debt. So all our debt is cleared. Yes, we've got that miscellaneous debt. That'll be with us to 2040. But as far as our net debt goes, it's disappeared. The first big signing to leave him was Maxime Busi. Now, he has gone off to Everton. He left for £20 million with £4 million add-ons. And yeah, he played 32 times for his last season. 2 goals, 8 assists. 3 player of the match performances with a 7.38. Really come on last season. Now, he's predominantly playing as a right back. He's all-rounded, 24-year-old Belgian who hasn't got a cap. He's only going to get better, let's be honest. But that kind of money really helps our financial situation. Another player to go then was Nebojša Kozovic. So this guy joined us last season on a free transfer and we let him go already without even playing a game for us for 3.5 million. Ain't got too much to say about him. We've never seen him play, never featured. So Wylan Cyprien, now he's a player that's been at us for 5 years and we sold him off to Dynamo for £2 million. Now last season he played 20 games for us. Hasn't had the best average rating with a 6.77 and 6.76 the season before as well. 20 games last season, 1 assist. He was okay. Could play central midfield, could play in an anchorman role, but we've let him go as well. And then another big move was Lautaro Valenti. He has gone off to Porto for £33 million. And I'm devastated to see him go, if I'm completely honest. He was probably the best player at the club. Played 35 times for his last season, 2 goals, 4 player of the match performances, and was a solid centre defender. Now, a 25-year-old has been capped 6 times already for Argentina and got a goal. And he's a quality player. Yes, is he an elite centre-back? No, heading 15, marking 16, tackling 14, strength 17. But he's good in those key attributes like I've just described. He really does a good job for a 6'2", and I'm absolutely gutted that he left. So coming in then, we had a few free transfers just to bulk out the squad for our European adventure this season. So we brought in Oscar Melendo, Nothing to write home about. Current ability 3-star, potential ability 3.5-star. Crossing, dribbling 13 apiece, acceleration pace 14 apiece, and he's predominantly going to play out on that right hand side, probably a little bit higher forward as an attacking midfielder. But yeah, 26-year-old. We got him on a free transfer from Espanyol, where he played in the Liga 18 times last season. Another free transfer through the door was Sergi Canos. Now he can play right down that right hand side and on the left, if I'm completely honest. Again, he's just a squad player, 27-year-old Spaniard. Joined us on a free transfer from Brentford, where he played 5 times in the Premier League last season. Not the best to look at, but another depth option. And we brought in Juan Cuato, a player that was on loan for us last season. Now, I've done something wrong here somewhere down the line, as I can't actually register him. He didn't play a game for us last season while he was out on loan neither. I'm being told that I've got to sell one of our non-EU players, which I have done, and I still can't register him, so he's probably not going to play this season again. If that's the case, I'm going to sell him on at the end of next season, where he's currently valued for 10 million. So one of our cheaper signings then was Aitor Paredes. Now he's a centre-back, another Spaniard. Joined us from Atletico Bilbao, where he didn't actually play a game for their first team, but 40 games for their B-side. 350k, like I say. I like him. Now, he's not highly rated. I got a bit of flack for signing him, but like I say, for 350k, it's not a bad signing. Adds a depth option. Heading, marking, tackling. Okay, that tackling at 16. Strength 8. Potentially get muscled off the ball. He's got a balanced personality. He likes a long range pass. But 24-year-old, we'll see what he does this season. He might only play 5 games, but that's 5 games that someone can have a rest. One of the more experienced players through the door, Jorien Zoet, who's joined from Spezia for 78k. Played 38 times last season in the Serie A, so he's joined us, but he conceded 88 goals. Now, this guy's not first choice. Probably never going to play a game, but I just needed a bit of experience on the bench, and the 33-year-old Dutchman with 11 caps offers me that. So bringing in an Italian then, Salvatore Esposito joins us from Chelsea for 2.3 million. He joined them last season for 2.5 in the Premier League, didn't even play a game. Now he's a solid midfielder, determination 17, that's what I'm looking for in a 23-year-old. And that natural fitness 17 as well for a player that I want to see lots of the ball. Now he can play as a deep line playmaker in the anchorman role, or he can play as a central midfielder, which is realistically where I want him. Decent all-round, again, he's nothing special, but he'll do a job for us. Now, I'm hoping this guy will do a job for us. Eddie Salcido, the 22-year-old Italian, can play behind a striker, out on that left-hand side, or up front as well. We got him from Inter Milan for 7.5 million. Didn't play a game last season, only played 1 the season before. Didn't score a goal. 6.6 rating. Now, I am taking a punt on this guy, and I've basically signed him on name. That is all I've done. I know who Eddie Salcido is. I know that he was classed as a wonder kid. Now, obviously, he's 22-year-old. But I am expecting big things for him this season. At 7.5 million, I'm hoping it pays off. Another 7.5 million signing was Timothy Pembele. Now, his quality technically, as far as head and mark and tackling goes, doesn't do anything else really. Don't ask him to finish a ball at 3 there. Physically and mentally, he's going to get better at 6 foot, 21-year-old Frenchman. Want him realistically as a centre-back, but he can play out on the right and left-hand side as well. He's not really convincing out on that left-hand side, but we brought him in for 7.5 million from PSG. Now, he was out on loan at Gil Vicente at Portugal in their Premier League. He played 11 times last season. Again, you know, I'm not signing these players off their current rating. I'm signing them off their potential, and his potential is 5-star. So yeah, Timothy Pembele, hopefully a decent replacement for Valente, who left us for Porto. And the last player through the door then was Gomez. Now, he joined us from Lyon for 2.5 million after they spent 6.25 on him. Now, he played 7 times in Ligue 1 last season, a 6.47 rating. Like I said, I haven't signed these players on the rating. I've signed him on his ability. So his potential ability is 4-star, current ability is 3-star. Can play right across the 3 behind the striker or in the midfield. Very versatile, 23-year-old, still has loads to give. Currently valued up to 5.8 million. First touch, decent technique. You know, technically he's good. Don't ask him to take a long throw or mark anybody, but I'm wanting to play higher up the pitch, so hopefully he does a job for us. His media description now is an unpredictable attacking midfielder. So how are these new players going to fit into the system then? So now we're going to change it to a 4-2-4. Now it's the game over formation, the one that I'm using in my Brentford save. Now I'm hoping to go all out attack here and cause some serious damage going forward. Now it's a big risk considering the season we've just had, but I think now we are ready to take that next step in the league. So we're going with Never6 in goal, Ramos, Mingo, Pembele, Ferro and Juric at the back with Som and Esposito in the middle. I would probably look at the aging Vasquez in there as well, with Gomez and Man out wide, Totino and Luca up front. Luca, you know, he's got loads to give, and I nearly lost him as transfer offers come in for him. He has got, when we look at his contract info, a minimum release clause of 17.75 million, so there is a problem there. When we look at the dynamics, then team cohesion and club atmosphere is good. My geo support is excellent. I've got plenty of players that want to leave. Dennis Mann may have gone before the end of the transfer window, as his contract expires at the end of next season. He's currently valued at 24 million, and we've had an offer in for him, so he could end up disappearing. And then when we look at the top influencers, I've got no players that oppose us, 4 players that have no real opinion, and 18 players that support us. So looking at the competitions wise, then we've got the Serie A, the Europa League, and the Italian Cup. I'm expecting big things this season. I'm excited about them. And then looking at the season preview, we're now expecting an 11th place finish, 150 to 1 to win the league. However, we've still got no players in that major dream 11. But I'm not worried about that at all. Like this season, let's just enjoy that European journey. So with that in mind, let's push forward to the end of season 4. Right guys, so the end of season 4, and as you can see, we finished in the European places again with a 6th place finish, 68 points on the board. I'm absolutely buzzing with that, considering the players that we sold in the summer. You know, to get 6th place finish this season round is massive. So 38 games played, 20 wins, 8 draws, 10 losses, 70 goals scored, 49 conceded, 21 goal difference, 68 points like I say, 2 points clear of Lazio with a really poor end to the season there. Drawing 4 of their last 5 games, a 1-1 draw with us in there as well. What about our performance in the past positions then? So let's have a look. So we're actually up into 2nd place at one point with a 3-0 victory over Crotone before the wheels kind of fell off here. A 1-1 draw against Udinese. Then we lost 2-0 to Atalanta, and it just went from bad to worse there on. So a decent first half to the season. I think it's once we get a third of the way through, then the wheels do start to fall off. However, last game of the season, we have a 6-0 victory over Bologna that gets us back into those European places after we were down in 8th going into that. A 0-0 draw with Fiorentina in there as well. So looking at our performance heading into competitions, like I say, 6th place finish in the Serie A gets us a European place next season. We will be playing in the Europa League. In the Europa Cup though, we end up finishing in 3rd place and go into the Europa Conference League where we win. So there we go, we've actually won a bit of silverware with a penalty victory over Braga. And we were playing in Lisbon as well, as that is an even game. We had 20 shots, 5 on target. They had 10 and 6. We managed 59% possession. Brunetta missing a penalty down 35 minutes. 0-0 going into full time. Brunetta misses a penalty after Fale does for them. And then Sanusi misses a penalty, which gets us the win. A penalty win. We get a bit of silverware. Yes, it's a Europa Conference League, but a European bit of silverware nonetheless 4 seasons in. And then we get back to the Italian Cup. We were actually knocked out in the semi-final by Juve. So Juve end up winning it 3-2 against Inter in the final. But having a look at the semi-final, and we got smashed 8-6 on aggregate. We managed to get 6 goals against Juve across 2 legs, and a 2-2 draw there in the second leg as well. Plenty of goals in the semi-final, as Inter win 8-4 on aggregate against Atalanta as well. So finances wise, and look at that there, we are really generating finances now as our overall balance is plus 84 million. Transfer budget for next season is 33 million, and we get 100% of our transfer revenue as well. And the wage budget is 800k, and we're spending 581, so we've got plenty of money to play with as well. But I think for this coming transfer window, though, we need to bring some experience into the squad, so I would expect to see a fair few 28 to 31 year olds joining the squad, as we've got one more season to really push on. That European glory has been absolutely massive. Yes, like I say, it's the Europa Conference League, however, it's still a bit of European silverware for us. And how has that success really altered the squad dynamics? So team cohesion is very good, club atmosphere is excellent, and my geo support is excellent as well. Sergio Canos wants to leave because he wants better playing time, and Gianmarco Cavallacca wants to leave as well. Is he unhappy that the promise is made? He's only a youngster anyway, he's in our first team. 20-year-old Italian, didn't even play a game for us last season. However, did score 26 goals in 48 non-competitive games. What about top influencers then? Anybody oppose us? No, I've got 18 players as supporters, 3 players that have no real opinion of us. And then looking at the player and team stats then. So Eddie Salcido was the top goal scorer for us through 23 goals, 12 in the league, 23 in all competitions. How did Luca get on? So Luca's not here. Luca's not here. That means Luca's been sold. Hold on a moment. Transfer history. So Dennis Mann has gone off to Liverpool for £5 million. I was expecting that anyway. He could have left on a free transfer, but he went off to £5 million. And Luca has gone off. So he's gone off to Chelsea. He went to Chelsea for 17.75 million. I knew he was going to leave because of that transfer release clause, but he got 16 goals for us in the league in 21 appearances. How did he perform overall? 29 goals in 28 appearances. That may be why we fell apart towards the back third of the season, like I just said, that we were up into 2nd place at one point and then we were wrestling towards the back end of it. So Luca and Mann gone. So realistically, I've lost 4 of my best players throughout this transfer window. So Lorenzo Luco, 2-2 off at Chelsea. So, like I say, Eddie Salcedo, the top goal scorer for us this season. Highest of his rating was Brunetta with a 7.34. Most assists, Brunetta with 17. Best pass completion was Dieck. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. He's also leaving us. I couldn't keep him with us. He's joining Anderlecht on a free transfer. I did say about this guy when I first took over that he was a real talent, and I couldn't stop him leaving. He didn't get enough game time for us, in fairness. We let him go out on loan a couple of seasons ago. Yes, he got 31 games for us this season, but I think that was too little too late. So he's also leaving us on a free transfer. One of my hot prospects. Most player of the match awards was Salcedo with 9, most yellow cards was Som with 19, and most red cards was Mingo and Pembele with 2 apiece. Team stats wise then, we scored 70 goals, which was the 6th best, we conceded 49, which is the 8th best, yellow cards 92, which is the 4th worst, and 3 red cards, which is the 9th worst. We also had the 10th worst average attendance. So that is it then, guys. For me, we've got one more season to go. I think when we look at the squad depth just isn't there anyway. To say the amount of competitions we were in, we're not really packed, but looking at that squad depth, we're alright up front. Midfield looks pretty decent as well. I just think we need to strengthen at the back. We don't seem to have enough about us. I've only got 2 3.5 star defenders. Probably need another couple in there. Left and right as well. Ramos is one of my centre backs. He's the best player on the left hand side. Juan Cuato didn't play a game as I couldn't register him. So he's had 2 seasons with us and hasn't played a competitive game. He is currently valued up to £10 million. So we may see him go this season if I can't sort out that registration either. But yes, like I say, looking at our squad depth, we're probably going to bring in some more experience for this last season. So yes, let's get stuck into this final season's transfer window. Right then, guys, so true to form, if you watched any of the rebuilds, I've just said that we need to strengthen in that back 4. And what I've done is I've gone out and spent loads of money on attacking players. Absolute idiot. However, that's what's happened. Looking at the finances, I've got nothing left in the transfer budget. Wage budget wise, we're 20k under that. Overall balance 64 million. We're still in a very solid place. And debts and loans, we've still got nothing. Transfer debt 12 million pound. That'll disappear over time. So looking at players that have left us first, then Sergi Canos has gone out to Valladolid, and he has left for 1.5 million after we got him on a free transfer last season. Played 11 times for us, 1 goal, and he wasn't happy at the club anyway. He wanted to move on for better playing time, and he's already played 2 games in La Liga. Simon Som, a player that we've had since day one at the club, he has left for £3 million to Besiktas. Played 32 times this last season in the centre midfield. Didn't really rate the guy, if I'm completely honest. He didn't develop as well as I'd have expected him to. When I first took over, he did look like a real good talent. 24-year-old, yes, he's got 15 caps for Switzerland, but yeah, didn't really develop. And if I was wanting to move on for this season, he wasn't even going to be a squad player. Now, Oscar Melendo has gone off to Krasnodar, and he left just over a contract dispute. He wanted some silly money. I didn't want to offer him it, and then he put in a transfer request, and Krasnodar came in with a £14.25 million offer for him. I'm absolutely buzzing with that. It wasn't even worth half of that. And a rich team from Russia just come and claimed him, so he's played 4 times for them already and scored a goal. He didn't do too bad for us last season. I think I said he was going to be a fringe player for us, but he ended up playing 33 times with 1 goal and 2 assists. In his average, he's not a £15 million player anyway, but off he goes to Russia. And then the last player to leave was Musa Gineppo. He has gone off to Norwich. Now, he left for £7 million. We brought him in for £1 million. Again, he played plenty of games for us last season. 32 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. He just didn't really develop as much as I would have wanted him to. He come in, he did a job, and now he's gone off to the Championship. So I did say we were going to bring in some older players. And the first man through the door on a free transfer, Callum Wilson. Absolutely OP. Last season, he was at Venezia. 925k they paid for him, 33 games, 17 goals in the Serie A, and that's why I've brought him in. 17 goals in the same league as ourselves last season for a free transfer. If you know anything about FM, you know that Callum Wilson is OP, so I'm hoping this season he's going to get us 15 odd goals and he'll carry us into those European places again. Another free transfer through the door was Antonio Blanco. Now, he joined us from Real Madrid. He played in their B team last season, 37 starts, 7 goals, 14 assists, 9 player of the match performances. He was definitely their best player. And on a free transfer, he's a decent player. Mentally, he's much better than he is technically. However, at 25-year-old, he has already been capped by Spain as well. And getting in that Spain squad is some achievement. So yeah, Antonio Blanco will come in and sit in my midfield. Then I started spending money on attacking Italians. So the first player through the door is Brian O'Day, and he joins us for 9.5 million from Empoli, where he signed for them last season for 10.5 million. So they've decided to make a £1 million loss on sending him to us. Now, he did play plenty of games last season in the Serie A. 36 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, a 6.44 rating now is the one that worries me there. He's not exactly set the world alight. However, he's had a decent pre-season. 3 starts, 2 goals and 1 assist down there. Physically very good, mentally good. Technically, crossing and dribbling is what I want from one of my wide men. So I would expect to see plenty for him. A 22-year-old and Italian. He may even get capped this season. Another Italian troubadour then is the 32-year-old Matteo Politano. Now, he's been capped 4 times by Italy. Attributes-wise, incredible. Technically, very good. The first technically gifted player that we've seen in at the club. And we spent £3.9 million on him. I'm buzzing with that. He played 29 times last season for Napoli. And they've basically given him away. Like I say, a real good player. Yes, at 32, I'd imagine they wanted to cash in on him. But I'm sure we'll get a good season out of him in this season when his current ability is 4.5 star as well. Another Italian troubadour with caps as well is Daniele Rugani. Now, he joins us for 4.6 million from Fiorentina, again from the Serie A, where he played 28 games last season. Only scored 1 goal with a 6.99 rating. But technically he's decent with head and mark and tackling 15-14, strength 14, he's 6'3", concentration 16, teamwork 17, positioning 14. A good squad player, probably a starter if I'm completely honest. But yeah, joining us, like I say, from Fiorentina, 4.6 million. Also coming in at centre-back is Tiago Jallo, now a 25-year-old Portuguese player who isn't fully capped yet. £7 million from Vitesse. Now, he didn't play a game for them last season, but he did play 33 the season before, got a 7.15 rating. Obviously had a falling out there. He was transfer listed. Heading 15, marking 16, tackling 12. The tackling worries me a little bit. Strength 15, jumping reach 16. Currently 6'3" as well. He's going to be a powerhouse in my defence. May not be a regular starter as we have got Ferro still and Mingos. But yes, Jallo is another option at the back. And then another player that's cracking on a bit is Vladimir Koufal. Now, you may know this guy from when he was at West Ham, but he did go to Southampton for 3.5 million, where he played 35 games in the Premier League last season. 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 player of the match performance, and we got him in for £5 million, and that was to add another option out and out right-hand side. Juan Cuato is now eligible to play. We've managed to get him signed up after 2 seasons of not even featuring, so we've got 2 options out on that right-hand side. And then the big money transfer of this season was James Maddison coming into play in my centre of midfield. We spent £17.5 million on him from Arsenal. They spent £61 million on him. He did only play 1 game last season, and that was a 6.5. They've obviously brought better options in, but what a player this guy is. 28-year-old, he's still got his best years ahead of him. Capped 5 times for England. Current ability 3.5 star, and he's playing to that full ability as well. And when we look at his technicals, passing 16, technique 17, mentally he's flair 16, vision 16. He is going to be a smooth operator who's hopefully going to get plenty of assists from a midfield. Can play as an attacking midfield left and right player as well should I need to, but like I say, predominantly going to play in that central midfield option. So looking at the squad dynamics then, team cohesion and club atmosphere is very good. My geo support's very good. I've got players that are unhappy. I'm not overly bothered about that as it is contractual disputes. A lot of them are in the process of being sorted. Esposito opposes us. That's again a contractual issue. I've got 14 players as supporters, 6 players that have no real opinion of us. And as far as the social groups go, we haven't really looked at this. So I've got 2 players that haven't got into a social group yet, and that is Wilson and Maddison. But they're both new signings, so I'm sure they'll fit in further on. So looking at the tactics then, this is the way we're going to line up. We're going to line up with that 4-2-4 again. We'd never stick in goal. Juan Cuato, Ferro, Rugani and Koufal at the back, with Maddison and Blanco in the middle. O'Day, Politano as my 2 wide men, with Wilson and Salcido up front. Eddie Salcido, expecting big things from him again. We're still going to play that tiki-taka, and we're going to go attacking. Because like I say, we put a lot of teams to the sword last season. It was only when our better players left in January that the wheels really started to come off. Competitions-wise this season, then we've got the Serie A, the Europa League and the Italian Cup. And then when we look at the season preview, we're expected a 10th place finish, 100 to 1 now to win the league as well, and no players in the Media Dream 11. Interestingly enough though, there's been no sackings over the summer and no new managers have joined the Serie A, so hopefully this time round we can push on again. Wouldn't it be great to get Champions League football in our last season? However, I think we've more or less mission accomplished now, as we are now an established Serie A team. Financially we're solid, so this coming season is all about just giving the best that we've got. Right then guys, so that is it, the end of the rebuild, and we've ended up finishing 7th place in the league. So, we've got European football again, 38 games, 17 won, 11 draws this season, 10 lost. I think that's the same as last season. We had 10 defeats last season. We certainly did. We've just drawn far too many this season. 61 goals scored, 48 conceded. 63 goals scored, 61 conceded, though we ended up with a goal difference of +2, 62 points on the board. We were 5 points clear of Udinese in 8th, but 2 points behind Lazio in 6th. There's quite a gap then between us and 4th place Inter, 16 points in total. Past positions wise then, we've more or less sat around 6th place. We flatlined on match day 18 with a 4-2 victory over Torino. And then we sat there to match day 32 and we drew 1-1 with Cagliari. And we've ended up finishing the season with a 0-0 draw with Bologna to sit in 7th place. But what about competitions then? We've won the Europa League. See that straight away. 3-2 victory over Tottenham Hotspur. Totino with a goal on 12 minutes. He then had one disallowed on 17. Danny Olmo with a goal for them on 20. Totino again on 25. Could have had a hat-trick in 25 minutes. Marcus Antonio on 61. Before Angel Gomez with a goal on 94 minutes. Now we're going to have to see this. I hope it's a worldie that wins it. Salcido on his way. I think that's Gomez at the back stick. It's not. He's at the front. Oh, he curls it, bends it into the top corner. It is a worldie, but wins us it. And that's full time and we win the Europa League. That is massive. So we've won the Europa Conference League and the Europa League in the last 2 seasons. The Italian Cup, we were knocked out by Inter Milan in the semi-final again. So we've had a decent run in the Italian Cup again. Let's have a look at the semi-final. As we go out, actually on away goals to Inter, we draw 2-2 on aggregate. We had a 2-1 victory away from home, but it's just not enough. As Milan win 11-4 against Lazio in the other semi-final. But what about finances then? So we leave the club in an overall plus of £61 million. Transfer budget for the next coming season is £38 million and the wage budget is £873 and we're just under that as it stands. Debts and loans, no debt. Buzzing. So we've left the club debt free. That's the main thing achieved. And then looking at the club vision, the end of every season is a top half finish. So we're now a fully established Serie A team as well. But we're also getting into European competitions now as well. And that's the big thing. When we look there just behind us, you can see that we're in that top 7, basically the last 3-4 seasons. When we have a look at the club history, obviously we promoted in my first season. Then we had a 12th place finish. Then a 5th place, a 6th place and a 7th place finish. So we have been basically in the top 7 for the last 3 seasons. So looking at the player stats then, Totino scored 32 goals. Now this guy's been with us since day 1 as well. Yes, we had him in that first season where he was on loan, where he scored 21 times in 38 games. And I did complain when we spent £4.7 million on him in a pre-arranged deal. He did go on to score 17 goals in that season, but he scored 22 in 33 appearances in the league, 32 in 34 in all competitions. He got 8 goals in the Europa League as well. And he actually finished 3rd in the league overall with Immobile getting 43 goals in 38 appearances, 26 in 26 for Alexander Isak, and Totino with 22 in 28 starts is massive. Real good performance there. But looking at the rest of the player stats then, Politano got the highest average rating with a 7.13. He also had the highest assists with 17. Best pass completion was Ferro with 98%. Most player of the match awards was Politano with 7. Most yellow cards, Kufal with 17. And he also got 1 red card. Looking at team stats wise then, goals scored 63, which is the 6th best. Goals conceded 61, which is the 6th worst. And yellow cards, 8th worst. No red cards in the league. 0, which was the best. And we had a 7th worst attendance. But for me, like I said, the whole point of this rebuild was to just be re-established in the Serie A, and we've done that. A couple more seasons in, we'll be challenged for the league. I don't really know. With the gap between us and Juve is absolutely massive. You've got to feel for Atalanta there, who finished on equal points with Juve and just missed out. And we've also secured the debt. That's the big thing, we've wrote that off. And now Parma can just focus on climbing the league table. So there we go then, guys. Just before we go, though, let's have a look at the milestones. So as you can see, 2021, I was hired as the manager. In 2022, we were promoted back to Serie A as champions of Serie B. 2025, we won the Europa Conference League. And in 2026, the season just gone, we won the Europa League. Not bad going at all. 2 European crowns there. And then looking at the overview of my career, I spent 1,791 days in the job, spent 93% of my time on holiday, didn't play any matches, obviously the assistant manager doing the hard work for us. Players bought, we bought in 25 for a total of 97 million, but we actually sold players, 71 players for 137 million, so we made £40 million profit there. Highest transfer fee spent was 17.5 million for James Maddison. And Valenti, who I was heartbroken to get rid of, £33 million he left us for. So there you go then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Like, if you have, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave down in the comments any team that you'd like to see me rebuild in the future, and I'll look into doing it. So thank you very much. Stay safe, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.